All right, exciting day. It was just a fun day. You know, that's what I told the kids. I said, boy, that was fun, wasn't it? And it was, and y'all watched it. I mean, a lot of hitting, a lot of good on good going around. The thing that's really impressive when you watch us is we don't go to the ground anymore. You know, good football players don't go to the ground. That's why when you go to an NFL practice, nobody's ever on the ground because everybody in the NFL is a really good football player. And now, like, you never see anybody on the ground in our practice if it's not a live tackle period. And that's just that probably in and of itself is probably the biggest indicator of how far we've come as a roster. Our first year here, man, it was like a travesty every time we snapped the ball. There was bodies everywhere. I felt like we were singing "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" every time we snapped the ball. And so, you know, I'm really appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of how our roster going. I'm appreciative of how our leadership has taken hold of that. And I saw a lot of good today. Saw our running backs really step up in pass pro today with pads on. All of them, you know, from the little ones to the big ones. And Frank really had some good pass pros today. Drake Clark did. You know, Dylan Lawrence again. I mean, I know I say him every day. It's been so unbelievably good to have Sways and Hayes back. They're just so intelligent. They're so smart, getting everybody lined up. Their anticipation for plays is so good. And then they're just really good players, you know. So that's been great. And, you know, I feel like Jerquan Scott's made another jump. I wanted to wait till the day with pads on to say it, but he's really made some changes with how he prepared this offseason to change his body. I think we're going to see him have another jump this year and have a chance to be a really good offensive lineman for us. Got some great punt work in today, good on good. Thought our shield guys really, Matt Riles is a guy in the shield that's really coming along. Jalen Williams, Broderius Lewis. We got some great competition at kicker. You know, it's going to be interesting because we got some talent right there, man. Stein and Tannehill and Gibbs are all three. We're great high school football players, and it's going to be interesting to see what shakes out there. So with that, I'll open it up.
You mentioned the running backs. Kenyon Clay looked like he had a really good day today.
Yeah. You know, and he rarely has bad ones, Andrew. You know, he was having a phenomenal spring until he missed like the last few practices with that shoulder injury. He's a kid, you know, if you saw on social media, he did all that public relations and community service work in his hometown with the backpacks and stuff. He's got an unbelievable mama, Miss Tiana, a great high school coach in Jordan Wren. And he's just been raised right, and then coming here, it was an easy transition in our culture. And then he's just talented, right? It's one thing to be a great kid. It's another thing to be a really good player. And then when you can combine both, you got a chance for something special. And I believe in him. He's what Southern Miss was built on for a long time, and you're right, he had a really good day.
Coach, off Andrew's question to Clay, it's kind of like you really still don't know what you have because when he did get to play, he was always facing a stacked box at the end of the game. I mean, can you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yes, somewhat, but he went against the nasty bunch all spring, you know, and now he's doing it in fall camp. So running back, usually what you see in practice transitions over to games because that is a real live rep. You know, some positions it's hard to tell till you get in game, but running the football and getting tackled and getting beat on, you know, that's pretty much the same. So we think practice will transition over to games pretty well with him.
So speaking on leadership, like you mentioned in your opening statement, I had the pleasure of standing next to the DBs during practice. Can you just kind of speak on what MJ Daniels means as just a young leader? Because I saw him coaching up guys, just being a really, really positive force out there.
Yeah, so number one, he's really talented. Two, he's a smiler. He's a happy person. We're pushing him to mature. You know, he's still a young guy. This is his third year in college. You know, he only played in 5 games, one snap, I think, at Ole Miss to burn his red shirt one year, which is a terrible, terrible deal for a young man to have to go through. And, you know, so he'd like to be a redshirt sophomore, but he's a true junior, so he's still matured. And that's our thing with him is, man, God gave you all this ability, and it's up to you to grasp it and run with it. And I think he's on the verge of doing that. And Dwight Wilson's the perfect mentor for him because, I mean, Dwight's from Port Gibson, and he's had to scratch and claw for everything in his life. So they're a match made in heaven. And MJ's going to continue to grow as he's here, and I think he's going to be a really good player for us.
I was going to ask how you think Dwight Wilson's kind of connecting with those guys.
Shoot, man. I mean, it's been like hand in a glove, you know. I mean, he's just perfect fit. I mean, like I said, Port Gibson, Jones JUCO, Itawamba JUCO, Hines JUCO, and more, and he's had to scratch and claw his way up. And I mean, when you look at our staff, that's our staff's DNA, and we've known Dwight forever. My dad worked with him at Murray State. Coach Greg worked with him at Itawamba. We've recruited him forever. He understands how to recruit this state, and very few people in this country do. And the way he treats the kids, the way he develops them, because he's had to develop people his whole life, right, at JUCO. And I think it's been a great fit. Just excited to have him.
looked like Billy was really efficient with the quarterback or with his passes today. I mean,
I thought so too. And he really has been all 3 days. You know, super sharp young man. Thought his pocket movement was really good today. And, you know, again, I thought Holman hit the big 70-yard touchdown and on play action. You know, it probably shook out a little bit today where Billy hit a few more dropbacks in team. We'll have to get in there and watch tape. But they've both done some good things. They've really not had too many terrible plays. You know, they don't miss very much. And they're growing and learning. We got install 4 coming up. And I told y'all it was going to be fun watching them compete, and I think you'd agree with me that it is. You know, it's not like you're trying to pick between something bad. You know, you're picking between some good guys right there.
Coach, to the pocket, there was a good pocket.
No
today.
doubt.
I saw them gather.
Yeah, and that's good to see too. You know, like I said, man, you know, that's the biggest growth in our program is that position. From 7 to 17, but also the type of kids in the room and the way Ankar and Sam, Greg, and Ben Thomas have developed them. You know, we've got some depth there. We've got some guys that are mean and nasty and want to play real football. And then they got to go against those D linemen every day too. So we feel like, you know, if they can block and make plays on those guys, then they ought to be able to compete in this league.
at the same time, that last third of practice, defensive line was really putting pressure on all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, we had some good blitzes in today, some new blitzes Coach O'Brien had in. We had a few pressures that got in. And shoot, man, Jaleel Clemens is a guy that shows up every day. You know, by the end of the year last year, we felt like he was one of the most dynamic pass rushers in the country at any level, and he's just taken that to another level this off season. Really proud of him and how he's developed, you know, and grown as a human being too. So yeah, we got some good pass rush in there. Those guys are good football players.
Just talking about Latrell Jones.
Yeah.
Really good day today, I thought.
Yeah, and had some really good plays on day one. He's probably the most unsung guy on our team from a standpoint of, if you go back and watch the tape last year, he got open and won his one-on-one a lot. We just didn't get him the ball. We're going to get it to him this year. He's one of those team guys, Southern Miss, Taylorsville, Mississippi, that works hard. He blocked punts for us last year. He just cares. And I believe with all my heart, when you live your life like he does, eventually you get the reward, and I think that's going to happen for him.
Brandon Hayes, the injury
Yeah.
he suffered would really demoralize some people, but it feels like he's kept a positive attitude
Yeah.
and is back kind of strong this year.
It demoralized me for a little while. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, he's one of those guys that nobody talks about we lost last year, and it's kind of funny because, man, he's a dynamic player. Probably the fastest player on our team. Was having a really good year. You remember he had the great catch versus Liberty down the sideline in the one-on-one situation, and was on his way to having a great year when that happened. Brandon's been through a lot, you know, and I could get emotional talking about him. You know, his story is special, what he's had to go through from youth all the way to here, and he's taken to this culture. He's really grown, and he's a winner, man. And he's fixing to have, I believe with all my heart, like, if anybody deserves to have a great season, it's him. And he does everything right, and I think that's fixing to happen too.
So, Coach, you know, you've been said multiple times that real football is played with pads.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've learned today? I know it's only day one, but what are some things that you've learned now that Southern Miss is playing real football?
Well, we'll go in there today and we'll see who turned it down. You know, 'cause whoever turned it down, we'll have to call them out. You know, core value one is honesty. And there's two parts of honesty. We talked about this in our team meeting last night. Honesty is telling the truth, but honesty is also you have to accept the truth. And you have to want to be coached. So if anybody turned it down, they'll have to accept the truth tonight. They'll have to look at that and see that, and then how they respond from that there will be a tell sign, you know, on how they're going to develop moving forward. Because, man, football at the end of the day is a physical game. I didn't make it that way, but it ain't changing anytime soon.
Coach, I know it's early, but just maybe hit on a true freshman that might be able to provide you some depth this year.
Yes. Okay, right now, you just never know. But I think Tremont Henry at Jack linebacker. I think Centario Willis at corner. I think possibly Luke Rogers in the interior O-line. Those two young wideouts possibly, just depends. Matt Nixon, J.J. Butler. J.Q. Gray brings an element that is rare from the standpoint. He's like a bottle rocket. Now, that's a heck of a nickname for him. That's what he's like. He's like a bottle rocket. You know what I mean? And Justin Reed at tight end. Justin Reed at tight end, I would think, have a great chance to play. And then Connor Gibbs at kicker is in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So, Maybe I left somebody out. I don't know. It's too early to like set that in stone. So all you fans don't hold me on. Oh, that's what he said. After 3 days, that's what I got. Okay.
Last one for Coach. You mentioned Connor Gibbs. In the spring, he said it was between Stein and Jack. What has Gibbs shown, I guess, this fall that's kind of pushed him?
Well, he's gotten here and he's kicked really good. You know, number one, he's really talented. You know, I think like Phil Steele had him as the number 16 ranked kicker in America. But now so you know he's talented out of high school, but transitioning from high school kicking to college, there is a transition element there that you just never know. But he's been seamless. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's from a talent standpoint and the way he's kicking right now, he's definitely in the mix. That's another position. It's a lot like quarterback. We don't know who it's going to be, but we know it's going to be somebody good because it's good players competing for it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks so much.
All right, so start of fall camp. Just kind of tell us how you're feeling. How do you feel like you've progressed from last year, and just what's the general attitude in the QB room?
You know, I feel good. I've kind of changed a lot of my habits in the off season from last year. I'm waking up a little bit earlier. I'm trying to eat more. I put on, I think, 16 pounds as of today from last season, trying to beef up. But I feel good, you know. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm faster, I'm throwing the ball better. I'm learning a lot still. And our quarterback room's great. We have a lot of really good guys there. Like, it's incredible. And we're all hanging out, we're all friends, we all learn from one another. And it's not like I'm trying to get the edge on this guy. It's like, what are we doing to help this guy to get the team going forward? Because that's kind of in the past, you know, before maybe this coaching staff, we had guys that would, you know, go out there and, you know, try to get the edge on somebody, but it's all about the team right now in that room.
Yeah. And so, you know, you are one of the people that has, and by one of them, you are the person who's been in this QB room for the longest. So how is it? Yeah, it is a little kind of funny looking at it, but how do you feel like you are as a leader in that QB room? Are you just more sitting and watching, or are you using your experience to help some of the newer guys?
You know, it's a mix of both. It's kind of whatever the guys need, right? For some of the young guys, maybe I'm with them more and kind of explaining why we do things. And with some of the older guys, right, is, hey, you know, next play, move on, breathe, relax, because they know what they're going to do. And it's been a blessing. It's just, we have such a good room. So, yeah.
Talking about Brandon Hayes just a bit, just his story and what he's doing now. What have you seen from him?
You know, B. Hayes has grown a lot since we've been here. Literally the first, in McCarty Hall over there, the first person I ever saw when I moved in here was Brandon Hayes. And he had a lot different attitude than he has now. But if you watch practice, it's night and day. He's one of the guys that, hey, positivity everywhere. I mean, he's cooking people out there. And that's not to say we don't have bad competition. We have really good competition, and that's how far he's elevated his game. He's a guy that's taking it one day at a time and has gotten 1% better every day, right? And it's not just maybe I get 5% better and then 3% worse. He gets 1% better each and every day.
Yeah, and so you've been on the sidelines, you've been coaching up, so and Will Hall's described you as just going to be a great coach one day. Do you see something like that in your future?
Yeah, you know, I started to take some responsibilities now. Like I help break down film, or in the quarterback room, I run the computer during our meetings, and I've just been so blessed to learn that. Like, now, I don't really know any college football player that gets that opportunity, and here at Southern Miss, like, I have that opportunity. It's really been awesome. You know, coaching is something I'd love to get into. You know, I'm not sure when, but yeah, I'd see myself as a coach one day.
Thanks, Jake.
Appreciate you.
You know, coming off last season, obviously not the season that you wanted. I think every single person we talked to, and we mentioned your name, everybody's, you know, all this kind of crazy stuff. What do you think your fall's been like so far?
But it's only day 3, so I can't really, you know, it's early in the camp. So, but I'm really excited to be back for starters. So I feel like that's something that's really pushing me to just every day I'm going hard, because last year it got taken away from me. So I just, like, being injured really helped me, like, learn that I have to take advantage of every down, because you never really know when it's gonna be your last time. So I feel like this fall I've really been just going hard as I can, and it's the work that I did, like, coming back from my injury, is really just paying off.
And, you know, it's not like Southern Miss has bad DBs. It's not like we watched them today and they were lights out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even going back to day 1 of fall camp, you've just been cooking them. Like, your speed, your footwork has been elite.
Yeah.
Have there been any off-season changes that you've made during your rehab process to kind of get you better at routes? Or, like, what's the change that you've made as you recover?
Well, honestly, like, getting hurt, like I said, it put me in perspective of just not being able to play football. It really showed me how much I love it, and when I was able to come back, I really I worked like every single day. I was doing something, so I just really was trying to perfect my craft. So when I did come back, it was no question that okay, is B-Hayes gonna be? I'm back. So it's yeah.
Do you like being in the slot or outside, brother?
I like outside receiver because I don't know. I just feel like outside receiver is more deep balls, and I like hitting deep balls. So.
Putting Ty Mims in the slot and you on the outside seems like a lethal duo.
Yeah, it's too much speed, man. Ty Mims, me, Rob, we got so much speed in our receiver room. Anybody you put on the field is crazy.
So just kind of speaking on that receiver room, how did it feel, having to watch them last year, but now how good does it feel being with them, being on every snap with them?
Well, last year, honestly, after I got hurt, it hurt so bad to even watch the games. So I can't really just say that I was watching, but I was cheering them on. I always wanted them to do good. But being able to just be back out there with them and just support my guys, even when during the spring when I wasn't really fully out there, it's just like being out there and being able to hey, you did this wrong or you did this wrong, you can do this better. Just being able to coach them up and make sure that we are the best room that we can be.
Yeah, and it's like there's an old saying that iron sharpens iron. How do you feel like such a stacked DB room with the likes of Dylan Lawrence and MJ Daniels and all these great people in the backfield?
Yeah.
How do you feel like that's helped improve the game on the receiving end?
Well, I feel like just Coach Hall really harps on competing with each other. That's one of our core values. So just receivers making DBs better, DBs making receivers better. Every dog gonna have his day. Some days the receivers gonna win, some days DBs gonna win. But just every day if we compete and go as hard as we can, we're gonna get better.
How do you feel about the quarterback room?
Oh, I love our quarterbacks. All of them have been having a good fall so far. And whoever wins the job, I feel like we'll be in good hands.
And so can you just kind of speak to, now there's, last year it was just throw it up to JB, throw it up to JB, and now he's not there. And
right.
I've talked with Cole Cavallo, I've talked with Will Hall. It's like Cole Cavallo said pretty well, everybody's going to get fed.
Right.
How do you feel like the wide receivers are going to be helped by just how talented this running game is now?
Well, oh my God, our running backs, Kenyon Clay, Frank Gore, CP, Drake now, Rambo. We got so many running backs now that the passing game will be so much smoother, and we got so much depth in the receiving room. Also, it's just everybody gonna be fresh. We always gonna be able to, because everybody knows what they're doing. So I feel like our offense is just gonna be a smooth offense. It's gonna work good.
What can you tell us about fellow Oak Grove grad from both you and me, JQ Gray? How has he looked?
JQ, he looked good. He looked good so far. He he's still learning. He's a freshman, but he looked good mostly. Going full speed, trying to do everything 100 miles per hour and messing up 100 miles per hour rather than going slow and messing up. So, he learning, but he's doing good.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right.